if England are to do very well in this tournament, and listen, it's not just them two, obviously, it's all about a team.
I don't look at any of our players and think, who can play, who can be that player that goes in behind and gets a goal or tries to go over the top.
If England are going to do as expected and perform at this tournament, players like Saka, like Rice are going to be pivotal.
Do you think that England will win all 3 games of the group stages? If so, you could get £65 in free bets. Our friends over at Paramount UK are offering new customers a massive 66-1 for England to win all 3 group stage games against Serbia, Denmark and Slovenia. You heard it right, 66-1 on England to win their first 3 Euro 2024 matches. To claim this offer, simply create a Paramount UK account, opt into the promotion and then place an outright bet at the normal price on the Euro 2024 England exact points to be 9. These enhanced odds apply to a max £1 stake, and the enhanced odds are paid in free bets. For example, if your £1 bet wins, you get your stake plus normal winnings paid back in cash plus £65 in free bets. Remember guys, you must be 18 plus and be a UK resident, and full terms and conditions apply with all the links you need in the description below. Please gamble responsibly, and a huge thanks goes out to Paramount UK for sponsoring this video. Hi, welcome along to AFTV. We are down here at the Emirates. It's just good to be around here, guys. You know what I mean? Just to, you know, it's like we've been away for ages. But you know what we're here to talk about? Not an Arsenal game, but we're here to talk about England's first game against Serbia in the Euros. And you know why it's quite significant? Because 2 of the main players that are going to be, you know, spearheading England's chances in the Euros this year are Arsenal players. And I wanted to chat to the guys about how they're feeling about the Euros coming up, because listen, it's a massive tournament. It's going to take over everything here in the UK over the next month or so. And it's just great to have a couple of Arsenal players in it. I remember going to the World Cup in Russia. I never forget it, right? We went out there, right? Just before the tournament, we had 1 Arsenal player in there, right? And that was Danny Welbeck. And then he got injured just before it. And then I was over there in Russia, all these England games, there was all these Tottenham players here, Dele Alli, Kane, Trippier, like it. Half the team was Spurs, man. I felt weird. But I feel good this time. There's no Spurs players.
No Spurs players, yeah,
no Spurs players in it. That's number 1. And secondly, our 2 players, guys, you could say are the main players. I mean, the 2 players I'm talking about, of course, are Saka and Declan Rice, and Turkish. They are, innit? They're going to be 2 of the main guys for England in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Saka, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, you're going into Euro 2021. No one expected much of Saka. I remember going into that one, it was Foden, Gaza hairstyle, it was Sancho. Let's not forget this. But yeah, Saka stepped on the pitch and he hasn't looked back since. Obviously, unfortunate with the penalty he missed in the final, but he come back stronger, he come back better in the World Cup. So I think the last 2 international tournaments, Saka's been arguably top 3 in both tournaments for England players. And with Declan Rice, when you look at the spine of every team, that's where success is built off of. And Declan Rice is up there. I mean, this season we saw the impact he's had at Arsenal. We saw what he done at West Ham the year before, their first European trophy for how long. And the spine of a team goes a long way in, you know, being confident, being labelled as favourites. And Declan Rice, when you compare him to DMs across the world, I mean, aside from Rodri, I'm struggling to name another one that I'd pick ahead of him. And they're very different DMs. So I think Rice and Saka are definitely 2 integral players for England, 100%.
They are integral, aren't
they? Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, you can't overlook Jude Bellingham at Real Madrid. You can't overlook Foden as well. They both had great seasons and it's going to have a massive campaign. But when it comes to Bukayo Saka and Rice, Bukayo Saka's won, England's international player of the tournaments 2 years in a row. Like
2 years in a row,
He always is the one that's to stand out. So he rises when it comes to international football. And I feel like he is a threat that he's kind of untenable to defend against. So for me, I think Bukayo Saka is going to be key. Rice, obviously red tinted glasses on, how well he did here at Arsenal. I hope he just continues that form going into his England run this Euro campaign, because if he does, we have a big chance. But we have a good team. But Rice and Bukayo Saka, big players, needs to have a big.
They got big roles to play in it, Laurie. I mean, if England are to do very well in this tournament, and listen, it's not just them two, obviously, it's all about a team, and we've got some very, very good players, but those two are very important, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. As Turkey said, two integral players, two already very strong team. And as you guys have said, if we're going to do well at this tournament, you would have thought that both those two are going to have to turn up, which I'm very confident that they will.
Yeah, and it should be free. If Ben White had come, you know, in my opinion, when you look at England defenders, when you look at England centre-backs, I don't see a better partner for Stones than Ben White. Even at right-back, listen, Walker's done his thing, Premier League legend, probably the best of all time in the league.
Yeah.
But Ben White has been the best right-back in the league for the last 2 seasons, arguably Trippier the year before, but Ben White was just behind. Last season, for me, clear, Ben White was the best right-back. He can invert, he can overlap. So imagine he was there as well. As an Arsenal fan, I'm glad. You know, he'll be injury-free, he'll be fit going into pre-season, and then. But people forget how good Ben White is and what kind of a loss it is for England.
I always wonder what happened there. You know what I mean? That he's just not. You know, he said, "I don't want to be picked." So,
do you think you'll be looking at this with a tinge of regret? Even though we know he's a strong character.
I don't think he will.
So, no?
I don't think he will, because he's the one who said, "I don't want to be picked."
Yeah.
So
yeah, but he's always saying that at the time. But when you see those guys out there and they're taking the pitch,
let's not forget he was out there.
The whole country's behind him.
He was out there in Qatar and he said, "Fuck it, I'm out."
He
was there in amongst there and said, "What? You don't rate me? I'm gone."
No, let's not forget he went to Edu and said, "If they call me, tell them I'm not interested." Let's not forget that. So,
but something's happened, because there is footage of Ben White previously, I think it was at Brighton, maybe early days at Arsenal, where he said, you know, the pinnacle is representing your country. So since seeing that, I know he wants to, I know it's a dream of his, but at the same time, man,
that coach done him bad,
if you feel disrespected, if you feel like, you know, you're not rated, then you've got to take a step back.
Yeah, I want to kind of to circle back to Bukayo Saka. I am intrigued, Rob, to see how Southgate deploys him when it comes to this Euro campaign, because I like the Saka that likes to take on players, run down the wing. I actually think the players we have in England are very much possession-based, good on the ball, tidy. But that option that can go in behind, I don't look at any of our players and think, who can be that player that goes in behind and gets a goal or tries to go over the top. Hopefully Southgate utilises Saka in that way, instead of being like what we've seen at Arsenal, him coming inside and then trying to chop in and hit in the top corner. I'd like to see him go in behind the players instead of.
Well, you know what? To be fair to Southgate, right? He's shown a lot of faith in Saka from day one. You know what I mean? From Saka came into the setup, a lot of people thought to themselves, "All right, Saka's going to have to sort of take his time and grow into the team," and he quickly made Saka his main man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think, you know, unless any injuries, and I know Saka's sort of been going into some of these warm-up games, you know, injured. He only played the last 70 minutes of the defeat against Iceland. But I think, you know, a fully fit Saka is looked upon by Gareth Southgate as one of his main men, and he will look to be deploying him, I think, exactly like how he does how we do at Arsenal, because that's how we've seen him play for England. He's been as good for England as he has been for Arsenal.
Agreed.
So, you know, Laurie?
No, I agree. As we said earlier, if England are going to do well, which I thoroughly expect them to do so, in fact, I mean, we'll talk about it in a minute, but I think they got to be amongst the favourites to win it at the very least. If England are going to do as expected and perform at this tournament, players like Saka, like Rice, are going to be pivotal.
Okay.
I can see that for sure.
All right, well, listen, the first game is on Sunday against Serbia, right? And I've been speaking to quite a lot of England fans, and everybody's just talking like it's a given.
Nah.
Now, we lost to Iceland. I know, listen, those are friendlies and stuff like that. I mean, France drew with Canada in one of their friendlies, right? But do not discount Serbia, right? I remember in the World Cup, they weren't bad. And up front, they've got Mitrovic and they've got Vlahovic, two of probably the best strikers in Europe. I mean, I know, you know, Mitrovic now playing in Saudi, and he was a top goal scorer in Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? So these are threats. And when I look at, you know, you made the point about Ben White, and I look at England's defence, particularly that centre-back position, you know, I mean, Mitrovic is good in the air, and he's, you know, he's a handful and a dangerous player. And I'm not too sure how Mark Gay and if it's Mark Gay and Stones are going to deal with him. You know, me personally, I'll put Dunk in there. You know? From Brighton, I put Dunk from Brighton in there, because I think you need a more physical presence. And without Maguire there, I'm telling you, those two are going to be a threat.
Yeah, England have to listen. I know England maybe 15 years ago or so looked at other countries and looked at the methods of, you know, youth and grassroots and stuff and started, you know, following that a little bit. But you also can't forget your roots. I say this similar to Brazil, for example. You know, they grew up with the samba style. They've lost that a bit, but you don't forget your roots. And I think England's roots are passion. You know, dare I say passion merchants, you know, leaving it all on the line, bloodied head, bandage all across. So Dunk is one of the players that kind of typifies that old era. He's one that, you know, he's putting his face, neck.
No, but I think this time around, though, we've got real quality. I hear what you're saying about.
The mix is good.
But it's unknown. It's unknown though to say. No, it is Mark Gahey and Lewis Dunk. Yeah, but in a Euro, but in a Euro campaign, that defensive line, it's an unknown defensive line. Stones, yeah, he's got experience at the back, but Stones with a Gahey or a Dunk, it's not. We don't know how it's going to work out. We don't know how the relationship's going to be. There's a lot of pressure going into a Euro campaign with a different centre back. We're used to, not saying Maguire's the level, but we're used to that. They're used to playing in big tournaments. So that's my worry.
Listen, bro,
that's my worry at the back.
We're all been talking up England's chances, right, of winning this tournament. No disrespect to Serbia. They are a decent side. But we should not be in any way fearful.
You got the eye. You got to be careful.
Those are two dangerous strikers that they got up front. I remember there's a lot of people, including me, before Mitrovic went to Saudi. I was like, we should get him. It'd be a good plan. It'd be a good plan B here. He's a quality player.
When you compare some of the other groups in this tournament, England's group is not what I would call.
I hear you on that, but I'm just going with his first game. And remember, Vlahovic was a player that we were chasing here to come at the Emirates, right? And it's going to be really interesting to see him play. And I think that that's a threat to England. We've got to be really, really wary of that.
No, absolutely. But what I'm saying is, right, I mean, if you look at Serbia's recent form, it's not great.
They just beat Sweden 3-0.
Yeah, but they've also lost 4-0 to Russia.
Have you seen our recent form, Austria? Our recent form's not great either, though. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we shouldn't be fearful going into this game. I do get what Robbie said. You do have to respect the opposition. But if on the one hand we're talking up England as potential winners of this tournament, as far as I'm concerned, we should be looking forward to that game against Serbia.
But Laurie, with optimism. I was born in this country, and I don't think we've entered a major tournament where the media and the people don't put England as one of the favourites for an international tournament. No, but this time in particular.
No, Kane mentioned that in
but listen,
his
the thing about England, and the thing about France, and the thing about Germany, when you're a Serbia, when you're a Turkey, when you're a country that is not expected to win, you look at these games, England, and you think, getting a win against these will be remembered in history. Our people will remember this because it's a big team you're playing against. So there's that in there. Because you're right, form hasn't been great, but you said Milinkovic, Savic, Tadic as well.
Tadic in there. They've got good players.
Milinkovic, Savic are brilliant midfield player.
I mean, they're certainly better than Iceland.
Another guy went to Saudi, right, but could have easily ended up here at the Emirates. You know what I mean? Good players. I mean, let's get your predictions. What do you guys think the score's going to be? Turkish.
1-1.
1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Laurie.
2-0 England.
2-0 England.
2-1 Serbia.
Serbia.
This guy woke up, put the England shirt on, and said, "Yeah, Serbia."
No, I think this is what I'm saying. Though, but listen, what I'm saying. I think we'll go far in the tournament. But I actually think it'll be like what you mentioned on DR Sports, like when Argentina lost their first game in the World Cup. I think that's going to happen. We'll have a slow start, and then we'll go. And that's what I think.
I think it's going to be a tight 2-1 victory to Arsenal, and I go for Saka to score as well. Arsenal.
The Emirates is
that's where I am, man.
Goes like rice.
You know what I mean? I can't get it out of me, bro. You know what I mean? 2-1. Yeah, that's it. Arsenal won it. Arsenal won it. Arsenal won the Euros.
It'll be Palace if we win the Euros.
Arsenal going to win the Euros. No, I'll go in 2-1. 2-1 to England, but it's going to be a tight affair. But I think we'll get over the line. I'll go Saka. Saka with a winning goal, man. I'll go 2-1 to England. Just before we go there, Turkish is wearing a Turkey shirt.
Yeah, madness.
Right? Now,
I heard we're doing an England preview, so I thought, let me come ready.
You know what, right?
Shame Jamaica on in the Euros.
I remember the last time, right, the Euros was on and he was supporting Turkey, who were considered one of the dark horses. They finished bottom of the group. Right? They didn't win a game. And this guy, I thought he was going to smash up the TV and everything in the studio when he was watching the game, right? Do Turkey have a chance of doing better in the Euros this time, Turkish?
100%. I won't take anything less than better. What we did last time was embarrass the people. Look, 100%. That Turkish national team in the last tournament embarrassed our people. Because to finish bottom, we finished bottom of the Euro. We had a worse goal difference than Macedonia. Statistically, we was the worst team in that tournament. And there was a lot of hope around it. But a lot's changed since then, and it's a new era coming in now. We've got good young players. We've got a manager, Montella, Italian, something a bit different. So
I think the fact that as well that the competition being played in Germany suits you
home
guys
away
because,
from home.
Yeah, because there's
Turkish
massive Turkish contingent in Germany.
Outside Turkey, the biggest Turkish population is in Germany, and then
And
the
I used to
UK.
think it was Green Lanes.
That'll make a big...
Green Lanes is going to be popping. Trust me. Trust me.
Green Lanes will be popping. Right, so that game there, and you're going to that game, innit?
I'm
Turkey,
going Portugal.
Yeah,
Portugal.
That's huge. That's going to be a great game.
Massive. Listen, I'm very confident. I wouldn't have bought the ticket if I wasn't confident.
Promise
of going
not to
through.
lose it though. If you
Turkish fans, listen, we will lose it. I can't promise anything. But we should get through that group. We should start with a win against Georgia. Whatever happens against Portugal happened, and then we've got Czech Republic. Listen, it's about moments. I mentioned Serbia, and I said Serbia ain't going to win the Euros. Turkey are not going to win the Euros. But when I look back at Turkey on the international stage, I remember World Cup 2002, we finished third. But Euro 2008 as well, last group game 2-0 down to Czech Republic. A Czech Republic with Petr Cech in goal and so on. We win it 3-2. In the last 16, 119th minute against Croatia, they go 1-0 up. In the 119th minute, we score in the 120th. We go through on penalties. Man remembers these moments, so it's not just about winning it. Yes, we lost to Germany 3-2 in the semis. Give me a moment. And we've got a candidate for young player of the tournament because Arda Güler.
all right, listen. In the interest of camaraderie, right? We're all going to adopt Turkey as our second team.
Say no
all right. So, and just before we go, is there any player in that Turkish team that Arsenal should be taking a close look at?
Arda Güler is the easy one, but Real don't want to let him go or even entertain a loan. Kokcu, a couple of years ago, I would have said yeah, but since Benfica, he's kind of slowed down a bit. Guardiola, the fullback we've been linked to already from Fenerbahce. But if there's anyone that I'd take from that Turkish team, it's Arda Güler, man. He's special, man. And we need someone to compete with Saka on that right side. He would be perfect.
Okay, all right.
Turkish star boy to come in.
Turkish. I don't know if I could handle that with him. He'd be like, everybody else can't play apart from him.
But
listen, we're looking forward to the start of the Euros. We're going to be all over it here on AFTV, of course. We're going to be backing our boys, and I mean, don't forget Aaron Ramsdale's in there as well. He won't start if Pickford's fit, but he could have a shout for playing if anything does happen to Pickford. But of course, Saka and Declan Rice, two integral parts of that England team, and we're going to be wishing them they do very well. And of course, lots of other Arsenal players at the Euros as well. A total of 11 Arsenal players at the Euros. And don't forget to check out the video that I did talking about Arsenal players at the Euros, and you get a full rundown before this wasp tries to sting me, right? You get a full rundown. So thanks for watching this video. Thanks to the guys from Paramatch as well. And don't forget, as I said, check out all of our Euro content, and we'll be supporting all of our Arsenal boys throughout the tournament.